We're going to start by making a basic magazine page in InDesign, and so we're going to start by setting up the composition of the page and the columns in the page. And this is the sort of thing that I'm hoping that you can come up with, where you've got a pull quote sitting in the center of the text. You've got a few columns. It's up to you how many columns you'd like. Some magazines have 2, some have even 4, and some have the text in columns that are at different angles. You can go for that look if you want to. This is just going to give you an idea how to do the basics. So you've got your title at the top, and I've added some extra graphics and used the wrap tool so the text is dodging that to make it look a little bit more special, I guess. So start by going File, New, and making a document. We're just going to go with a basic A4 size. You can change your columns here in the settings, or if I make this page here, we can go into the layout, and I can add some columns here, which are just a guide. They won't come out in the final print. They'll just be there to use as reference. And so we'll use the type tool and drag out some columns. The first one, I'm going to drag a great big text box out, and I'm going to fill that up just with a whole lot of gobbledygook, which is placeholder text. It doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to fill a huge amount of a text box up, and then I'm going to use the selection tool, drag it back, and use those column guides so I can see, I'm fitting the bill here. I've got it fitting the exact space. And then make another column. InDesign's really good because it tells you when things are lined up. It gives you those little markers, the little indicators that are green. So that's very helpful. So if you don't have anything lined up, you can drag it down. It'll tell you it's lined up. Okay, so now we've got overset text in this column, which means there's more text than this particular text box can hold in this particular area here. So if I click on the little plus sign here, right on it, you got to be really precise. It gives you the overset drag tool, so you can click in there and click in the next text box, and it will the overflow of text will go into that column. So we can see there's still lots of overset text, but we know that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't matter. It's just an idea that we need to understand. So next thing we're going to do is I'll just copy this. We'll go for the heading, and so you can make a big block and type in magazine, madness, whatever you'd like to write in yours, and then scale it up. So you need to use up here you've got your character formatting tool, and you can change the font size here. You can pull down the menu to a higher point size. That's that's just a rough idea. And then another thing we're going to do in our magazine page this week is we're going to put a quote in the middle of the page, which is a pull quote. So we're going to write something like this, whatever you'd like to write in a text box. So and then select that, scale it up so it looks like the sort of quote you'd find in a magazine, and then you can drag that into the center of your columns and just move it around till it sits like it looks right. And then if you double click the corner here, it'll get your text box sitting a little bit better, but you might need to position your text box before you do this. So if you go in here to the window and you turn on the text wrap menu here, activate that, and well, it'll be active when you click one of these, and that'll activate the wrap feature. And so it's wrapping to both right and left sides as well as the top and bottom. These should be linked. Usually by default they are linked, and that's how far away it pushes the text. So if I make a change here and push the text further away, then it will push it from the top and bottom and left and right. So that's pretty straightforward. You can go through and play with the different settings here. That'll work for all different types of text. It'll work for your text, it'll also work for graphics, so we'll look at that soon. Alright, so next we'll change the font. So with this font, you've got, if you look at Font Book on your computer, if you download a font from a site like DaFont or wherever you would like to download a font, there's another one called Font Squirrel. All the fonts you download and install in Font Book will be available in InDesign as well as all the Adobe products. So I just use this one. It's sort of like a school style. And so Mame. So if I select the font and I grab the pull down menu and just type in MAM, it'll take me to MAM, anything that starts with MAM, and if I click that font, it's changed it. And then I can edit that font. I can scale it up, I can move it around. So what I did was I just added a little bit of a graphic element coming down from the M that pushed into the text, and I used the wrap tool on that as well, but it wasn't that straightforward. So anyway, here's the line tool, and so with the line tool, if you click and drag, it'll create a line, but if you hold down shift, it'll create a line that's either going purely vertical at 90 degrees or purely horizontal, or at 45 degrees. So that's helpful. Now I can just drag that down holding shift at the same time. I'm going to go Command plus and zoom in, and I need to make that as thick as the font is, so I might just go in here and increase the size, and I'll have to be really precise, I guess. 2.1 is pretty close. So you go down to the 0.0 whatever you want to go down to till you get it right. But I'm just going to go 1 decimal place, and just try and get that right. So now the only problem is also I want to get that rounded off, like the rest of the font has got a rounded, at the end it's rounded. So to do that, you just have to open up the stroke. There's a little stroke window here, and you can change the cap, the end of the whatever you're working with, so I can change that to a rounded cap. So there you go. If you want to be really accurate, that's how you do that. And then oops, and then with the dodging of the text, it wouldn't be very good if I select that and then activate text wrap. My heading is going to want to steer clear of this bit of graphic, so that's no good. So that's not going to work. So a solution would be to just create a basic rectangle, and have no fill and have no stroke. So I'm going to change this. Normally it would have a stroke around the outside, so it's got the stroke here. You can make it thicker or thinner. And you can make it, you can fill it with magenta or whatever you like. But what we're going to do is make it so we have no fill, no stroke, and you won't see it then. And then we can just drag that over the top of, well, just where we want the text to not be, to avoid, and then we can actually just apply the text wrap to that object that we made. So if I activate it, then it's going to dodge it. So then the text will dodge that graphic element that's sticking into the to the writing below. And I guess one other thing, well, we've got hyphenation turned on here. Probably turn that off. If you go into your paragraph formatting, you can turn hyphenation off, and so that might make a difference, and it does look quite different with hyphenation on and off. And there you have it. You can do your fine tuning and manipulate things so they look a lot better. And so that's step one of our magazine page design. And we'll go on to doing some more things, such as working with our graphic elements such as photographs and some effects.